Well, in real estate terms, it means you're getting paid, baby. Welcome, Shane. First podcast of the year, and we're in March.
First ever one.
First one ever one. We have had a bit of practice, but we were terrible. But the recent acquisition of Blair, who is now going to be running everything in the back end, which you'll see and speak to him probably at some point. He's going to help us with all of the technical stuff. Thank God for that. Because let's be honest, we're better on camera, not behind camera.
The editing was awful.
So Real Estate Uncensored, take 2.
Yeah.
2022.
We've learned a few things. So we know we've got to do a topic, otherwise we just lose the plot and end up down a dirty rabbit hole.
Structure, strategy, and consistency is the 3 things we've taken away from having Blair on board.
And we'll be back next week and guarantee that, even though I'm on holiday.
Yeah, we'll get enough.
We've screwed it again already.
So the structure is the format we're going to take moving forward is going to be what, Shane Perry?
So we've got a topic each week and we're going to talk about that topic. This week's an easy one for us. It's going to be being a real estate agent. The good things, the bad things, and then we're going to talk about a few things in regards to that. A lot of people like to get into real estate and like the stat is after 6 months, 8 out of 10 people have failed.
So we need Blair to succeed because we need to keep the podcast going.
Yeah. So how the hell are we still doing it if 8 people out of 10 don't make it?
Because I don't know. Everyone's left. The office has dwindled down to the point where they need us more than we need them.
Yeah. So, I just think real estate, it's a horrible job. But it can be very rewarding, and that's why we do it. But the big thing is that people don't realise is the average real estate agent's only earning about $69,000 a year.
Are you average?
I'm slightly above that. I'm probably up around maybe 75. But to give you an idea of, you have to work
75,000 a month.
This is a year I'm on.
Oh, that's a year. You're on that for a year.
I'm on a fair bit more, but I give a lot of charity, as you know.
That's a lie.
But you can work. So we have to work 7 days a week. People never stop ringing us. There's people ringing you at 11 o'clock at night asking about a listing that's already under contract.
Correct.
You can work at Hungry Jack's for $65,000 a year as the manager.
Okay.
You can be a teacher that's on more than that. You can be, some chefs are on more than that, restaurant managers, graphic designers, all hard jobs, but at least when you leave work, you don't have some idiot calling you about a house that's,
So the perks of working at Hungry Jack's, obviously cheaper food.
You get cheaper food, 10% discounts for you and relatives, I think, is still a thing.
And what's the perks for working in real estate?
Perks working in real estate, uncapped earning potential. You do get more free time, so if you want to have a day off, you can usually schedule it. Mm-hmm. But we certainly don't sit around
doing podcasts.
We don't sit around doing podcasts, and we don't play golf all the time.
Well,
we don't drive fancy cars. Maybe the good ones do. Maybe once we're good, we'll get all of it.
So for people about fancy cars, I drive a Ford. Yeah. So common man.
Yeah.
Obviously referencing the great Hamish and Andy. What type of car do you drive, Shane? Who earns $75,000 a year? What type of car do you drive?
I own a second-hand Jaguar XF, Robert.
Pardon? A what?
Jaguar XF. Can't actually afford to run it now with the recent bad run in Ukraine and Russia. So it sits in the garage.
Okay.
So I would say if you get into real estate, don't go out and buy an expensive car because they're just too expensive and you're not going to earn any money when you start in real estate anyway. It takes you a while to build it up. Certainly don't get excited and buy an expensive car.
Prior to the Jag, what is it, an XF?
No, it certainly was not, no.
What type of car? What type of Jag was it?
No, it was a Ford Focus.
Ford Focus, that's all right. So I was a Hyundai i20, which I recently upgraded to the Ford.
Yeah. So it's not all rainbows and lollipops. A lot of the people I see in real estate are driving fancy cars, can't afford them.
Okay. I agree.
Because I know what they're earning and what they're riding, and I know that they're not going to, they can't afford that car.
Number of local agents and pretty agents who you'll meet them as we go through. Lease cars.
Yeah.
Which I think is just a big reward anyway.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. So, there's nothing to hide here. We're doing poorly and it reflects that way, Robert.
We're very open and transparent. Apart from cars, apart from earnings, what's some other benefits you reckon to real estate, mate?
You get to talk to a lot of people. Every day's different. I couldn't go and work in a box factory or something like that where you just, you're either, like Dad used to work at Buttercup. His job was literally to lift up crates of bread and that was it.
All day?
All day, that was his job. I'm like, how do you do that every day?
Has he got arms like yours?
No, we probably did back then.
Yeah. You lift weights, not crates.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd probably, yeah. So, I wouldn't want to do a boring job like that where you turn up every day. At least you know what you're getting yourself into, because sometimes you walk in here and it's going to be a real debacle, just erupts.
Yeah. Well, is there a positive to real estate? 'Cause there seems to be a lot of negatives at the moment.
I'm putting a lot of people off. The course has also got harder to get in. That's another negative. But now we'll talk about positives.
What other positives? The money.
The money.
Unlimited earning potentials.
Yeah. So you have to work hard, and if you work hard, you'll get rewarded.
So when you say hard, what do you think average, when you're starting out in real estate, how many hours a day, how many hours a week, do you have a life? What do you think would be standard for someone new into real estate for the first time?
I think you got to be in at 7 at least and leave at 6 or 7.
So we're talking 10, 11-hour days?
I think so, yeah. I think
5,
if you're going to
6
take
days
it
a week,
seriously,
7 days a week?
Yeah, I think if you're going to take it seriously, you need to be doing that. You don't want to, you can't just, the thing is though, a lot of people start and just sit in the office and do nothing all day.
Yep.
And you can't do that.
You can't do this. It's got to be productive.
You got to be productive 8 hours. It can't, you may as well have a productive 6 hours instead of having an unproductive 16.
Is that the biggest thing you see new people coming on is they sit here and think they're working, but they're really not being productive?
No, they're sat on like realestate.com looking at listings coming on, and that's not going to get you listings. That's just going to annoy you that other agents are listing stuff and you're sat there listing nothing.
And RP data, they're looking up all their friends' houses, seeing what they paid for them. Not making any money.
Yeah, stalking friends.
Just
seeing how well their
data.
friends are doing on RP data. We can do that. But I just think that, they go missing halfway through the day. I've worked with people, I'm like, what time do you get here? They roll in at 10, leave at 4. I had one rule. I couldn't leave unless I had to drive home with my headlights on.
That's a good rule.
Yeah. So summer sucked because you were driving home at 7:30 at night.
Yep. Well, you waited for winter. Yeah, that would have been fantastic.
So
my rule was I either had to turn on or turn off the alarm every day. So turning on the alarm, obviously, turning off the alarm you hear first, turning on the alarm you hear last.
Yeah.
So that's another headlight thing. I remember we had one bloke who started here, and he took great pleasure in telling me every day where another Brisbane Bronco lived. Because he was on RP, he's a big Brisbane Broncos fan, so he's telling me that, Darren Lockyer owns this house in Red Hill.
Yeah.
It's like I had no idea.
You won't believe who's living in Stafford at the moment.
Thank you so much. It's great to know Sam Thaidays in Sanford.
Yeah. So, you can waste your time, and if you're looking to get into real estate, you can't be too young, you can't be too old. They're just excuses. It is all your attitude. If your attitude is good, you'll make it. If your attitude is lazy and you're just looking to make a quick dollar, this is not the industry for that. Get into crypto or become an influencer or something. Something's going to make you money quick.
Well, if you want to become an influencer, we'll talk about that shortly. I've had a recent reel on Instagram that's blown up, gone viral. So we can talk about that at a later date. I'm sure at some point we're going to have some social media stuff. So are you happy to take questions if anyone has any questions regarding real estate?
Yeah, I mean, if you're here for a serious podcast, this is probably not it.
Okay.
I would recommend that you don't personally listen to too much we say. This is a little bit more serious, this bit, just because we don't want to go off the rails too early.
Yeah. And we want Blair to believe that we're actually experts in our field because he's still learning.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've still done nothing for him to know that. So,
you got some good stats, mate.
Here we go. So this always annoys me because these stats come out every year and it ranks each profession where they actually are. And this rolls into what's Cheese Shane off this week. Play the opener.
Yeah. Cue the music.
He hasn't done one.
He hasn't got the opener yet. What's Cheese Shane off?
I'll tell you what's Cheese Shane off. So real estate agents, on a list of 20, we've come in at 17th for honesty and ethics, which is probably no surprise to people out there because the people have voted.
Out of a number of how many? So we're 17 out of 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's below us? Can I ask?
Advertising people.
Well, let me have a guess. Advertising. Okay, you've just told me that. Well, the standard one we hear from buyers is lawyer or used car salesman.
Yeah.
Are they under us?
No, it's only car salesmen. Lawyers are at 26% out of 100 trusted. We're 5%.
Wow.
26%.
Trust a lawyer?
Yeah. 26%. Bank managers, union leaders.
Outrageous. What's
vets.
number one?
I reckon, you know how I feel about vets.
I know.
I think vets are the biggest stitch up. My dog, they're like, he's not going to live. Rip him apart. He'd eaten some plastic. They said, rip him apart. And I said, we don't have the money. Because in real estate, you don't always have money. So I said, we're not ripping him apart. He's either got to pass or he's going to sadly pass on. He's already old. He's still living now because he
passed it.
managed to crap it out.
He's past the plastic.
Yeah, he's past the plastic. He's not dead. Vet wanted to charge $6,500 to rip him open.
Yeah,
Vets do great work, but they do play on.
That's a commission.
Yeah, they do. They play on. I believe from what, and I think a lot of people would agree with this. They play on your emotion. If you want to save your dog, it's going to cost you this amount, and it's always some like. It's not hard to rip open a chihuahua and rip some plastic out.
I don't know. I believe they do go to university and study it. But
I know, but
I think it would be hard.
$6,500 a bit expensive for me.
Okay. So So what cheeses you off this week is we're ranked below a vet.
I think we should be up higher. There is dodgy ones out there.
Okay.
There is dodgy ones out there, but no one else on this list that I can see. No one else on this list is happy to be paid after they do the job. They all get paid either, but pretty much before. Like if we don't, like if I don't sell your house, I don't get paid. You can withdraw it and not sell it, and I still don't get paid even if I've done 20 open homes.
Correct.
So we're a results driven business. If my dog dies on the table, I'm still up for $6,500.
You still have to pay him.
If he still dies a month later, I'm still up for $6,500. Vets are, there's some other ones on here.
So you think the dog should probably live for, what do you think would be, if you paid $6,500 for the dog to get healthy, what time frame do you think is acceptable to then pay the vet? 3 months, 6 months?
Oh, I think they should say, look, he's pretty old anyway. Are you sure you want to pay $6,500? Like I reckon a couple of grand, fair enough.
So half a job.
But it's also
quarter of a job.
What also cheeses me off about vets is, we can keep him alive. You know, he could come good. Yeah. We'll keep him alive.
What's their job to do that? It's like a doctor.
10. Yeah, but they charge you a fortune to keep him alive on ventilators and all this stuff. We had Muffy. He died the same way.
Pet insurance?
They're like, no? I can't get pet insurance. My dogs, we adopted them when they were already too old. So I can't get pet insurance because he's too old. So we bought him from Animal Welfare. Grover was already 12.
Noble.
Yep, Noble. I came in from work, had 2 dogs.
So you didn't get them?
No, I didn't like it. I wasn't happy at all.
So you knew it from the start?
Yeah. I got a text saying we've got 2 dogs. And
that's
I said,
what cheesed Shane off, is your wife brought 2 dogs home.
Well, Grover was already 12, Oscar was 6, and I said, well, surely Grover, we got a discount on him. He's, already towards the end. Same price, $400, bonded pair. Isn't that's one of the biggest rorts, I think, is saying they're a bonded pair to get rid of 2 dogs in one go. These dogs, I've lived with them for the last 3 years. They don't like each other. There's nothing bonded about them. Nothing at all.
All right, well, Shay's clearly cheesed off on that.
That's outrageous.
That's outrageous. So vets are arseholes.
Yeah.
Money-making arseholes.
Yeah, so, we were actually at 8% and have dropped to 5% as a trusted profession.
Prior to COVID?
Yeah. Let's move on, Robert.
Where do you just in finishing up this, where do you think real estate should sit? Percentage-wise,
I think
in that ranking there.
I think for every 5 agents, there's probably one that's dodgy. But because it's probably just hungry and trying to, there is some dodgy
so 20%. You think we should be around 20% trust?
I just don't think people understand the work that goes into the background. Like everything's reviews now. If we get bad reviews, no one's listing with us. Like they don't see all the stuff we got to do in the background. Like we don't like ringing randoms and saying, "Do you want to sell your house?" But it works.
It does work.
If it didn't work, and we're adding value to people the way that good agents do it.
Scripts and dialogues, I love it.
Mate, what do you want to bring up? You got any ideas here? Or what?
Hey, what cheeses me off is people cheesing Shane off because it really grates my fucking gears. Don't worry about that.
So, have you got a story for us, Robert? Anything interesting?
Man, lots of stories. I don't know if I can talk about them on the podcast here, but I could just tell you quickly about my recent reel on Instagram.
Oh my god!
We've gone up from it was a post of me with a coffee. I'm happy to share it on all the pages, all the social pages. Reach out, you can have it. Over 200,000 people have seen it now. It's going up. Every time I look at my phone, there's another post, another comment, another like. It's actually fucking exhausting.
How many views was it?
Over 220,000 now.
I mean, I know I've already cheesed off enough. I know I've already had me time.
You're not a big fan of my reel, are you?
It's crap. It's utter rubbish. It doesn't make any sense. I haven't seen the movie it's related to. I don't even know who's talking.
Mate, you're not my demographic, Shane. You're old.
Blair, let's do a poll online. Is it a good reel? And people can watch it and tell us.
Mate, I've had
Team Shane or Team Robert.
I have 2,181 people that say it's a good reel because they've liked it.
There's some sad people out there. The way the world is going. This is why I don't have Facebook and Instagram on my phone anymore.
Plenty of comments.
I'm not one of those 200.
We'll have to
Technically, I am because you ran over every 10 minutes to show me it again, but I don't even like it.
Mate, I'm over it.
It's crap.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll keep you updated next week.
Yeah.
So we'll update next week on the real count if you like.
Yeah.
And cheesing me off Aaron wearing his nana's pearls.
Yeah, there's a guy in our office wearing a man wearing pearl necklace.
Yeah. He's
white pearls.
I think there's a sentimental attachment to it. We better not go too deep into it. But let's be honest, it's not a good look.
Leave your mum to wear your granny's pearls.
Yeah, it's not a good look. Bless him.
Yeah.
We'll put a photo up of that. I might put the pearls on and get a photo taken.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll put heaps of stuff that we talk about on the social pipes. Robert, you're in charge of that, the old social sewer, now that you're the king of it.
Blair is. I'm king of reels, that's it.
So I wouldn't mind just talking people through. So when you're a real estate agent, obviously you do auctions and stuff like that. And I had one recently where the owner wanted about 800,000. Sold it for at the auction. It went all the way up to 865. Rang her. She said she lost the plot a bit and, whatever. But she was like, no, I know we said we'd take 800. I now want 1.1. And the lounge room was full of people. And we had to go out there and say, sorry guys, the owners decided to pass it in. And anyway, it sold a month later. That's not.
Did it sell for 1.1?
No, it sold for 865 still. So she came around. Now the reason she came around was she was living in it. So I went to get the contract signed. We're sitting there talking. Lovely, really nice lady. She just had a few things going on, but where she was staying is questionable. She was staying in a motel. We won't name the motel, but I had to go there, and it was one of the scariest places I've ever been.
Is it near a theme park?
No, it's on a beachside suburb. It'd be an expensive piece of land.
Okay.
I want to paint the picture for you of what this place was like.
Paint the picture, son.
We stayed for one night, and it was the worst accommodation we've ever stayed at. The only two positive things were the owner office lady was lovely and the shower worked a treat. The rooms are very old, broken, dirty. The window had holes or were smashed. The bathroom door had a massive hole in it, and the linen smelt very strong of cigarette, causing us to wash our pyjamas at the new motel the following evening. We were woken up by a domestic brackets DV happening by someone staying in the complex and felt unsafe that we wanted to leave and go to another motel. The unit had so many insects and things wrong with it. Spend the extra cash and stay somewhere safe and nicer. This one's also a bit of a favourite.
Wait, sorry, I'm confused. Is this a review of the hotel?
Yeah, sorry. This I'm painting the picture of what the motel is.
I thought this was
like.
a house you're trying to sell. No wonder you only got 806.
This is the motel review. So I'm painting the picture, right?
Okay.
I booked it. This is another one. Be careful. This is a junkie motel, righto? I booked a room. I arrived on my motorbike. As soon as I arrived, I was confronted by three men. One, a junkie with lesions on his face, was asking me for gear. I said, I don't do drugs. Then they wanted to know what I was doing there. I said, I booked a room. Then the one with the tattoos all over his face grabbed a baseball bat and came towards me. And so there's another one, and I'll keep it short, obviously.
Should we name and shame?
No. I'll keep... So this I couldn't find this particular review, but I've read it in the past. It said, I went to ask about the Wi-Fi as it was not working. I turned up at the desk at 10 a.m. On the door, it says, you can come to the office 24 hours a day. There'll be someone there to service you. I knocked on the door, and a bloke with no shirt came out, smoking a cigarette, and said, you've just woken me the F up. Why? What do you want? He then proceeded to tell me that he didn't know how to turn the Wi-Fi back on. So anyway, I turn up to this place and we're sitting there filling out the contract. She's going on about the ex-husband and how did nasty was.
They went some dramas. Yep.
She's sharing a room. I think it's a place where police drop people off to a lot. And so she was sharing a room with some geezer. He comes out, no shirt on, and just goes, if you don't shut the F up about your partner, your ex-husband, I'm gonna smash your face through the table. And then looks at me and goes, oh no, mate, I'm Gary. And she's like, can you just F off, Gary? And then she looks at me and goes, he walks off. Then she comes downstairs. We go downstairs into this little sitting area. It had like old washing machines there, a few plants, lovely. And we're still filling the contract out. It's all signed. Gary comes down. She starts going, what the heck are you doing down here? Don't come down here. We've moved from up there. And he comes out, I just wanted to apologise, mate. I didn't mean to get so angry. I'm just so fucking sick of living with this woman. And I'm like, mate, no worries. So I'm like, He's left, and then there was like all these Darrows hanging around fixing one car, and in the car park of this motel, there was a hotel people that were staying there that were normal. And then
Is this the new relationship she's in?
no, this is just they pair them up if there's not enough rooms.
Wow, in a hotel.
Yeah, it's a motel.
Motel.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's probably hard to call it a motel, to be honest. So
You have to tell me about this off mic.
I left there going, I'm lucky I left with my life. The stairs to get to the second level, the bottom stairs were held up by 2 bricks. It's also in this review. Judge this book by its cover. It looks like a househouse on holidays circa 1974, and it is. We were on the road between Christmas and New Year and had no choice staying here. I was worried the whole time our car would be broken into or stolen by the Darrows living there. I brought all our belongings into our room. This was no better. Our door had a hole in it where the old lock used to be, so no need for a peephole. The stairs to the upper rooms were resting on bricks where the concrete had crumbled and the handrails were undone. The windows were sticky taped, were cracked, and some boarded up. The room felt dirty and I didn't want to sit down. We showered wearing thongs. Why would you stay there that long to have a shower?
Might be cheap.
Only positive, hubby had a full-size fridge for his beer.
Is that the real review?
That's a real review.
Oh, brilliant.
So, yeah.
So reviews are important, Shane. You think for business?
Reviews are important for business. Yeah, this one has more 1 stars than 5 stars. Let's just say that. But I just couldn't. That's the most dangerous place I've been to sign a contract. So if you're going to get into real estate, just keep that in mind. Maybe do some jiu-jitsu or something.
To go get contracts signed at dodgy motels.
If I got murdered there, wouldn't have got paid the commission. Wouldn't have been the effective cause of the sale either.
The office would have got it.
Or someone else would have had to have gone there to get the contract signed.
I'll sort that
We
out.
could have lost 5 men going there.
I'll sort that out.
So, there you go.
So story time with Shane. It's about a dodgy motel.
Yeah.
I love it. We've ticked story time off. Week in review. Have you had a good week, Shane?
I've had a good week.
Number of listings, number of sales. Are you actually winding down? Can I just? I've noticed that you had a bit of a lazy week. You are on holiday shortly, aren't you?
We're winding down. Yeah.
So can you tell us all where the low income earning real estate agent driving a Jaguar is going on holidays next week?
I'm going. It's a motel in the.
The motel
I'm just going to give it a go
in a beachside suburb, just for the fun of it.
Now going to Hobart, doing some charity work down there along the wine trail. So
yeah.
So that's right. That's where I'll be going.
Making a few donations.
Well, it's still a bit risky going overseas. I can't afford to go overseas, but if you technically it is overseas, I guess.
And you think that Hobart, Tasmania is a bit more relaxed, easier to get to.
A bit more like it's still.
You're an old man now. Who are you going with?
Lisa.
Going with the wife.
Yeah.
We'll have to maybe get her on the phone one day and see what you're like after hours.
Yeah, we just went. Yeah,
if you're a moody bastard. I reckon you would be.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely am. I'm very grumpy.
Yeah. At home with the partner segment, maybe something like that.
How's your week in review been, Robert? Oh no, sorry. I've listed 3 this week and sold 2. And then somehow I'm at 8 sales for the month, which makes me sound like I'm doing well, but that's probably the only 8 sales I'll do all year now.
Yeah, well, that's a lie. Downplaying it. I've had a fairly good week. It's been fairly relaxed. Blair and myself, we've listed 2, 3, I think it is, and we've sold 1. We've had 1 fall over due to finance, which was a bit of a shame. We've had a couple go unconditional, so I'm at 1, 2. I'm at 5. I'm counting on the board. I'm at 6 6 sales at the moment, and a few listings. So all in all, a pretty good week. And I play golf on Wednesday.
For the people that have come here to actually listen to real estate tips, I would say that the market is slowing down.
I would agree with that.
Everyone's getting less people through their open homes. There was madness before Christmas, madness probably up until February. Now the buyers, there's less of them. They're getting cleverer, and we have to adjust our pricing, I think, because it's definitely slowing down.
Across the board, or you think just our area?
I don't know. We work in like what you would say in our area, probably like, as far as the Gold Coast goes, probably the slowest, least desirable spot of it.
I like to call it an entry-level suburb.
Entry-level, yeah.
I don't like to call it an undesirable.
Well, everyone always says,
entry level.
2 years ago, people were saying, I'm not going to go across that. I'm not going to go across the river.
Yeah. North of the Narang River, we used to hear that a lot. I don't want to be north of the Narang River.
No.
But, well, look, just tell the people we're the 4209 postcode.
Yeah.
We might have to bleep that out, Blair, if we swear too much. But Northern Gold Coast, we are the people you need to be calling. Yeah. That's the only plug we'll say about how good we are.
Yeah, no, it just seems to be slowing down. The prices are still good on the board that we've sold. It's just we don't have that competition. So maybe the quality of buyer is better.
Yeah, look, who knows? If we had a crystal ball, we wouldn't be in real estate. But we'll just take each day as it comes and keep on trying to do transactions that make us money to buy new Jaguars.
Yeah, not going to live that down. I mean, I literally can't drive.
Nah, you've thrown that in there.
I don't have the money to run it.
I'm lucky you can drive again.
It's $2.50. It's $2.50 a litre, and I've got to fill it with expensive fuel.
Oh, you premium?
I've got to be premium with it.
Oh
It doesn't even drink the ethanol stuff.
Oh my god!
It doesn't get out of bed for anything less than 98, Caltex 98 or Shell V Power 98 or whatever it is. I don't know. So if you're going to buy a car in these strict times, my recommendation to a new agent would be just stick with something small. If you turn up to someone's house, people do judge you on your car sometimes.
Go electric.
But yeah, a lot of them will just don't care what car you drive. If you're the best agent, you'll get the business. It doesn't matter what car you drive.
I agree. And if you do have a shit car, just park further down the street.
Yeah, like I used to have to take my P plates off when I started. Turn up to their house, put the P's back on before the police got me. And, sometimes you just got to, be a bit of a chameleon. They're definitely not probably going to list with you if you turn up with P's on because that, takes a lot of time off your life. But
do you think being young is a hindrance in real estate?
No,
How old were you when you started?
22.
22?
Yeah. I've had a checkered past, which we can go into, or not like checkered, like as in I've been to jail or anything, but I've had a bit of a different journey to get to where I am now. But I know there's a guy somewhere that's only 18, he's writing over 2 million.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Like that's amazing. Like you can only do real estate from being 18. That's the youngest you can get into it. I don't think you can be too old either. We know someone that does really well and she's like, her age is pretty high. Yeah. Well over retirement age.
Yeah, I was 30. I think I was 35 when I got into real estate.
Yeah,
I'll tell you a bit about my history too as we go, if you like.
Yeah. We can have history with Shane and Robert.
The decades of Shane and Robert.
Yeah,
I've got one more extra on you, so I can talk a bit longer.
Yeah. So how long have we been going for, Blair? Yeah.
So we've ticked off being a real estate agent. We've ticked off a week in review, which I think that's pretty productive.
People get resumes now for Hungry Jacks.
Yeah. Buyer, which we haven't done, but we'll have to work on that one. Being a real estate agent, which is a little bit about being in real estate. Story time with Shane. That was a hot one. And a hot tip. Should we just finish on a hot tip?
What have you got for us?
Hot tip would be if you have animals, make sure you clean up the shit when people are coming through to have a look, because nothing annoys a buyer more and puts them off a house is when they stand in shit before they get to the house.
Yeah, fresh poo never really.
Even old poo, just poo in general.
Yeah, it never creates.
I've had human poo in a house before. I'll tell you that one next time.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to hearing about that. Wrap us up, Robert.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Outro music. Blair, hit it.